Hey, what's going on, guys? Over here, and welcome back to the Top 5 Moments series here on the channel for the top 5 moments from the 2018 French Grand Prix. So it's been a hot minute since we've done this kind of video on the channel. The last one was the Monaco Grand Prix. Missed Canada due to me being away from home and abroad in LA for E3, but we're back with the French Grand Prix, and a pretty decent French Grand Prix, actually. There's a lot of worries about Paul Ricard as a track. You know, it's a testing track. It's not a thoroughbred race track, and the layout was a little bit questionable. Drivers, even in the driver's briefing, asking to remove the chicane in the back straight, which ultimately actually saw a lot of damn overtakes in the race. So all in all, I can't complain too much. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and especially after the amazing footballing action this morning, my Sunday was pretty much already complete, so I wasn't really too bothered, but it was an okay race. There was a few big moments in that one that we can talk over, and if you're unfamiliar with this series, basically after the race, I tweet out what were your top moments, and you guys on Twitter tweet me your top moments. So I try and collate them together, try and pick through the most popular ones, and try and create a list of the top 5 moments, including a little bit of kind of input from what I personally thought were big moments in that Grand Prix. So before we get into it, some honourable mentions, I guess. So first of all, the biggest one was rain. Once again, rain was kind of in the air, as rain might be, but it was in the air in terms of rumours that it might be there. Even mid-race, there was a call to, I think it was Fernando Alonso, that there'll be rain in 20 minutes time. And at the time, I tweeted out on Twitter that, rain in 20 minutes time. Watch how in 20 minutes time, Paul Ricard is going to be drier than Gandhi's flip-flop. And you know what? It was. So great. And I mean, I'm sure it's going to be literally raining as I record this video now. Like 10 minutes after the Grand Prix ended, it's going to start chucking. Like, watch it. They're going to be leaving the podium, and it's going to be absolute hailstorm, just as it is with F1. A lot of the times we love to get jinxed in F1 with the rain. So yeah, that's great. Honorable mentions before we get into the top 5 moments. Unfortunate that 2 French drivers, Ocon and Gasly, had to retire so early on lap 1 of that Grand Prix. Big kerfuffle on lap 1, so that was a shame for them. Never, good to see home guys out of their home race. There's a little bit of a kind of bogey thing. Sometimes it depends. You get lucky. You have your kind of Hamiltons who get energy from Silverstone, but then you have like your Jenson Buttons who kind of get bogeyed at their own home Grand Prix. So I guess, I don't know, Ocon and Gasly starting their home Grand Prix escapades with some bad luck there, unfortunately. And then finally, Fernando Alonso. He's not a top 5 moment, but he needs to be talked about in this video because, well, he had a torrid time at the French Grand Prix. At one point, just started slagging off everything in the team. He was like, the tyres aren't good, the brakes aren't good, we're not in the points. What's the point? And I think the team kind of set his car up then, or I don't know. He did say, there was talk about he did something on the dashboard and then started just trying to go the fast lap of the Grand Prix, just for the sake of it, really. But stark contrast from winning Le Mans to now coming back to McLaren, who had a woeful weekend. But anyway, let's get into the top 5, starting off with number 5. So number 5 is going to be the ending with Lance Stroll's dramatic punch into what is usually a flat-out corner in qualifying around Paul Ricard. The front left just went pop. He flat-spotted it earlier on in the Grand Prix, did not pit to replace that like most drivers might have done. I guess Williams just thought there's no point, really. I mean, I can't blame them. Williams, once again, looking horrid this entire weekend, but scary place to have a puncher there and go straight off. This time, though, those little coloured strips that, I don't know about you guys, but were giving me epilepsy through the entire weekend, slowed him down there, but very dramatic in terms of that, you expect to go literally, foot to the floor, go through the corner on the right-hander, and then bam, pop, and you're just going off the left. That must have been a little bit kind of crap your pants moments for Lance Stroll in the cockpit, and definitely probably the only big thing in the last kind of closing stage of that Grand Prix, apart from what's going to be number 4. Number 4 is going to be Carlos Sainz's unfortunate power loss. Really, really gutting. Really gutting, because he was up to P3 at the very beginning of this Grand Prix, which is fantastic in itself to have a French outfit, obviously, in yellow up there in P3. Fell back, obviously, because the top 3 are just stupidly quick compared to the midfield runners, but he was running really well just behind all of them and was pretty much best of the rest, and then that power issue hits. Magnus and Bottas overtake him easily. He was actually luckily still able to stay ahead of his teammate, which I think was really good for him at least, because it would have been even harsher to finish behind his teammate, because he's pretty much done the job against Hulkenberg this entire French Grand Prix weekend. So at least that was okay for him, but really gutting. You could see it in his voice in the team radio. He was just like, come on guys, can we do anything? Team radio says, we're trying to sort it out. They didn't sort it out. Virtual safety car at the end maybe helped him a little bit, but really gutting because he looked like to be on for some really good points, and he's been going from strength to strength this season, trying to get more comfortable. Had a blip in Monaco, bounced back a little bit at Canada, and then this was going to be a really good one for him. So really unfortunate there. That's going to be number 4 in the top 5 moments. Number 3 is going to be a little bit of a cheat because it's going to be a collation of moments, but all those chicane overtakes. Like I said, the drivers were talking about removing that chicane, and if they did that, it probably would have been way too easy to pass because DRS was very effective around here off that slingshot on the left-hander. And so that chicane, I don't know, I tweeted about it, and a lot of you guys seem to agree maybe, but I don't know if it's just me. I'm not being funny, but like it just seems so easy to overtake into that chicane. Like every driver defending just seemed to brake like 5 meters early. I don't know if it just looked like that. Obviously, a lot of the passes were done by Bottas and Vettel, who are coming back through the field. So you have a top 3 car v the midfield. We know how good the top 3 cars are. So obviously, it may have looked easy because of that. But then you even had like Nico Hulkenberg overtaking a Haas so easily, just jutting on the inside. You had Leclerc overtaking the McLarens. That was great as well, seeing Charles Leclerc's pace and him overtaking McLaren there. But just, yeah, the chicane overtakes, that was the big point that was actually giving us a lot of action at Paul Ricard. Without that chicane, I think it either would have been a pretty dull Grand Prix in a case of like too many easy overtakes, just going down like the motorway and overtaking on the right-hand side on the fast lane, or if they, it just could have been a very dull Grand Prix. But that chicane at least gave us some action. It's debatable how enthralling that action was. I tweeted out that lap 1, even though that action was great. I don't know, for me personally, it's quite melodramatic. Like, yeah, it was chaos, but I don't know, for some reason, it just didn't feel as dramatic as it has done in the previous couple of races. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was the camera angle of Paul Ricard. Some of the camera angles are so wide angle that I felt like it made the action feel a lot less dramatic, intense. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below about if you guys had that same sort of feeling. I don't know, it was just me, but it was a little bit... something was a little bit off-putting at Paul Ricard this weekend in terms of how good the action looked out there. But yeah, the overtakes were really nice to see at the chicane, so that's going to be the top 3 because we had the case of Raikkonen v Ricciardo there to get the podium. That was great to see, but a lot of correlating cheat moments for that top 3 spot. Number 2 is going to be Charles Leclerc's performance this weekend. Specifically, though, to be honest, I'm going to move in from Saturday. So I haven't done a moment ever from Saturday, but this was honestly so good that the moment from Saturday deserves to be in the race video for the top 5 moments. Leclerc's qualifying was amazing. To get a Sauber in the Q3 session, especially considering he said in practice they were way off. It was disaster practice for them. They changed a lot of stuff overnight. Leclerc stayed late on the circuit on Friday to work with his engineers, turn that round to get into Q3, way ahead of the McLaren guys for both Saubers, because Ericsson got into Q2. But then Leclerc, if he did the same lap he did in Q2, he would have been P7. He would have been splitting some of the cars there and been right up there, maybe with Carlos Sainz on the grid. So fantastic stuff, and really showed in the weekend where there was a lot of press clippings about, Raikkonen, Ferrari are ready to let him go and put Leclerc in the car. Leclerc goes and smashes that qualifying, and then in the race, it was very clear the Renaults had much better race pace than the Saubers in the race. The French outfit was saying that before the race. They were hopeful of that, and that's exactly what happened. And Leclerc fell back a little bit, but still got a P10. He was on the lead lap as well. So I think overall he's got to be absolutely chuffed with his performance. Another point in his rookie year in Formula 1. You can't be disappointed in that. And if you are, you're kind of asking too much of him. And so I think that wraps up another enthralling, fantastic weekend for him, and keeps on ploughing ahead to put in those good words for Ferrari. And to be honest, the way he's going, I don't know. I don't know about you guys at home, but I would really love to see him now finally get that seat in Ferrari. It's been talked about for so many years that he's a Ferrari junior. It's going to happen at some point. I think it needs to happen straight away next season. He's done a good enough job. Let him finish out the season strong. Put him in that Ferrari. All the confidence in the world. I think him and Vettel have a good relationship off circuit. Vettel's a bit more of an older senior guy figure to Leclerc, so I think that relationship could work well. And this weekend, he just proved he does have a really growing gift and talent in it. We could see it from junior categories, but he finished off really well this weekend, so that's going to be P2. Well deserved there. And then number 1 is going to be lap 1, turn 1. Sebastian Vettel. Just really unfortunate, Seb. Really unfortunate. He did not need to make that happen. Got a really good getaway. Got pinned in by Hamilton and Bottas. But then to turn 1, locked up. Silly mistake. Went straight into Bottas. Broke off a bit of front wing. Spun off Bottas. And got a 5-second penalty. Served that. And fair play, actually. You got to say, fair play to Vettel. from P17 to P5 in about, I think it was about a third of the race distance. So really fantastic pace from him. Obviously, Ferrari turned up the wick, but great driving from Vettel and also Bottas. Both of them were making some great passes, obviously flexing the muscles of their top cars, making some passes on the triple or double right-hander, that very weird, wide, double apex right-hander in the last sector. Bottas loved to make that pass twice then on a Haas, I think it was, and then the Ferrari of Vettel was just pouncing every time he got in the chicane. But that turn one incident, you're 1 point ahead in the championship and you go and do that. That wasn't great, and it had a bit of a hallmark of Singapore of last year. That was really unfortunate. Sebastian and Ferrari, they've got a good package this year, and if they really want to take the fight, Seb, especially just for him, I think he needs to take the onus of just trying to minimize those mistakes. I think that's still something that maybe hinders him a little bit. He's got a lot of things going for him, but that's still something that maybe crops in here and there for him as a driver. He just has sometimes that lapse of judgment here and there. The lock-up at Baku, here into turn one, locking up, hitting Bottas was unfortunate, but fair play, made the good recovery, but his teammate had a better pace in that race and got the podium there. But ultimately, Hamilton now gets 25 points. Vettel, what was it, like 10 points only? So unfortunate, but I'm sure they'll come back. But it definitely looked like Mercedes had the pace this weekend versus the Ferrari. But yeah, that was a very poor moment, because Verstappen was only a couple of seconds behind, like 9 seconds, I think it was. Vettel could have maybe had a go at Hamilton, maybe. You never know. It's all theory, but I feel like, and I think I'm seeing a few people tweet about it post-race, it seems like Vettel might have had a chance to sniff at a win, potentially at some point in this race, if he was there, but he took that straight out of his hand straight away at turn one, lap one. But that's been the top 5 moments and the honourable mentions at the beginning of the French Grand Prix. But like I said, as always, guys, let me know your moments in the Grand Prix, and let me know if you disagree with some of mine or agree, and let me know if I missed out some that you think should be there, and just let me know how you thought that race went. Did you guys think Paul Ricard was better than you thought it was going to be? And let me know, like I said about those overtakes. I really find it really funny. Like, something was a little bit off this weekend for me. The overtakes just looked really odd and just really too easy for some of those guys to make into the chicane. It almost looked like some drivers just didn't want it today at Paul Ricard due to tyre wear saving or something like that. I don't know. I might be going crazy. Let me know in the comments below what you think of that down below. But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy this video, then hit that like button. If you are new around here, do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been Amber. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.